Welcome. It's week 16 of Meet Sweats and Menopause. I'm Joe Gleason, the Midwestern man, and with me is my beautiful co-host, Kirstey the Britchick. Welcome to week 16.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just feeling the slow, steady pace of summer seeping in because it's going to get hot here. So I'm enjoying the last moments of our late spring, early summer weather. So today was beautiful.
Yeah, it is nice. Hey, Sue, how's it going? Sue,
what's up, Sue? Hello.
I think she's nursing an injury too, aren't you, Sue?
We have so much in common, Sue.
You're not on social media. I have a feeling you're nursing an injury. Hey, Dan, how's it going?
What's up, Dan? Dan and I were talking up to the 11th hour of the show. Like, we're back and forth. We're like, oh shit, I gotta do a show. So,
yeah.
Right.
So here we are.
So what's going on with you, Sue? What do you got? What's cooking? You need to borrow some crutches or anything like that? Like, how you doing?
Joe himself is the crutch guy right now, aren't you? It's been what, 2 weeks?
It started like 3 weeks ago, but I didn't start addressing it until a couple weeks ago. I figured it would just be okay if I rubbed some dirt on it, Gen X style, and it has turned out to be a lengthier ordeal than I had anticipated, but I shall persevere. So, Sue, I helped my daughters move a couple weeks ago, and while moving, I was walking backwards with their couch with a hand truck and stepped in a hole. I thought I just twisted my ankle, but it turns out I have a little bit of a stress fracture. X-rays are negative. It's Robert's fault. It 100% is Robert's fault. He was like, no, it's not. It's my fault. It's my lack of coordination. But Robert definitely... he wasn't messing with me. Like, oh, it's gonna fall. So, and we talked about this a little bit last week with the X-rays we did down in Mexico for a fraction of the cost, and then had AI sort of analyze some of the analytics of it. So it was kind of interesting. Not broken, just a stress fracture. So got crutches, got a walking boot, but it hurts. It hurts like hell, though. It's very painful.
Yeah, you're not sleeping. You can't walk, can't drive, can't do anything. So it's rough.
I can drive, but I have to do it creatively. Kirsty doesn't like me to drive. She prefers
supposed to drive with 2 feet. So that's all I'm gonna say.
I brake with my left foot. It's I wear the walking boot. It works fine. I'm not. I drove back from Mexico with this, so it's,
yeah.
You leverage the technology of the car too. When you get it on cruise, you can hit the up button and the down button of the speed. So, yeah. So how's your week been? You're back in Arizona. You've had to go from like no human interaction or essentially no human interaction, like out on the beach every day, to like back to the third largest metropolitan area in the United States. So how are you assimilating back to our normalcy here?
Assimilating. It's I spoke a little bit about this last week because I just got back last week. We both had, actually. And I don't know, it's just, I don't know does anyone else feel this? I say this a lot, but like, it's insane right now. Time is speeding up. Like, it's like I'm getting up at like 7:30 in the morning, and I'm like with the dogs, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm going to work for 12 hours. And it's like, we're almost there now. And I feel like I've done nothing. I feel like I don't know what is happening. Like, my time is disappearing. It's like I'm in a warp speed. And it's just like, before I know it, the time is gone. So I feel like time has flown. It's been a week already. And I feel like it's really stressful here. Just life, like it's probably just because I was just out on my own, with Rolo the dog, and
now you gotta take care of the gimp over here. Well, you're like, can I bring you a sandwich?
There's gimp care for sure, but yeah, I guess I've assimilated back into life, and it's I don't know. It's a weird feeling. I feel like I have no time. Like someone's like, oh, can I give you a call? No, don't call me, because that's another hour that will be gone where I won't be able to do anything. And I feel really stressed by that. I'm trying to just enjoy it, but I'm just like, it feels like time has disappeared. I don't know if anyone else is feeling that right now, but that's how I feel. So, but other than that, I mean, it's good.
Yeah, well, part of it's so there's like international, like when you're dealing with, like you've had technology issues, and it's like when you're dealing with tech support and you're dealing with customer service that reads from a script, and it's like they actually have zero power to do anything, but they're like almost gaslighting you, or like, I fucking explained my problem to you 4 times, and then they're like, hang on, let me put you on hold, and then they've got some like, and then they come back with, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't, like, cool, thanks that you're sorry, but I just want to solve the problem. Can we get down to it? And like every person you talk to is, you have to A, re-explain everything, and then B, you're like nobody has any power to actually friggin' do anything. You know, it's like you're just carrying.
Yesterday, like that whole day was spent dealing with customer service. It was beyond frustrating, and it's like you said, like they're reading a script. They won't just, like, I get it. You're trying to do something. You can tell that it's, the frustration's rising. And I'm like, look, I'm not mad at you. I know it's not your fault. I understand. You're just on the other end of the phone. But seriously, talk to me like a human. Stop reading this. I'm terribly sorry to hear that. I'm doing everything. I don't. And I literally say, I don't fucking care. I don't need you to apologize. I don't need to hear you say, sorry, Kirstey, like every 2 seconds. I need you to just talk to me and go, you know what? That blows. I'm going to do whatever I can, try and help you here. And if I can't, then this is going to be the next. Like, just fucking deal with me as a human. And they can't. And then they don't. I was just going to say, like, the whole, like, not being able to speak English thing, too. I would not get a customer service job in Mexico, because as much as I speak conversational Spanish, there's no way that I'd be able to handle a conversation on the phone without seeing someone's face and be able to actually talk to them. So I wouldn't go and get hired to do that job. So why is that happening when we're in an English-speaking country? And I think I had one lady who was like Russian, and her accent was so thick I couldn't understand anything. And the next guy was Indian, and I couldn't understand anything he was saying. And
they don't live in the English-speaking countries. They live in other countries, and this kind of goes into one of our topics about later.
Stop hiring people that have thick accents, because nobody would want me.
It's about profit.
It's ridiculous, though.
And God bless them. I think they're doing the best they can, but they just are left with zero power. I don't think the humans themselves that are trying to, they just don't have any power to do anything. And I think there's an intentional effort, at least with some of the stuff. I was dealing with a PayPal issue. And so my relating to this version of the story is like, they said I paid for something like 3 months ago. They pulled it out of my account. They said I didn't, for reasons I can't understand. So I've been in this sort of like, back and forth with them for 3 months. And ultimately I was trying to send you money in Canada, right? Which is its own, which is its own adventure. Because we both kind of, share stuff, and we go back and forth with money. And so I was trying to do that, and they wouldn't let me, even though they'd pulled the money again from my account, like last Thursday or Friday, it didn't show up until today. And in this day and age of like, you charge something on your debit card, it's gone that minute, right? So like, or very soon. But it takes 5 or 6 days. And like, why does the computer need a weekend off? Like, right. Why does the computer need a business day? Right. So like the computers, hopefully, we've talked a lot about AI in our last several episodes. And I think with what's coming with AI, I think it's very likely that the folks and the challenges that you've had, and probably to a lesser extent me, that your customer service issues are going to be handled by an AI bot rather than an actual human. So pick your poison. Would you rather have a robot, ones and zeros level, or hey, Brad, thanks for the update, bro. Brad's at the Cubs game tonight. You're seeing a good game, I hope. Yeah, right. Brad, I asked Brad to keep me posted on while I'm on the podcast. Just keep me posted, brother. Yeah, I'm a huge Cub fan. It's a blessing and a curse. But AI, I think, is going to take over a lot of that work, and whether they do it with any level of human compassion or how that gets handled, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But they probably will at least sound more English speaking than some of the tech support.
Well, the thing is, it's like if you just go into AI online and you talk to it, it does actually respond like a human. Right? It does, like, like I asked it to do something earlier. I was like, can you write this thing out for me? I just gave it a whole bunch of information. I was like, just put this into one paragraph. And it wrote it all out. And I was like, okay, that's cool, but it doesn't sound like me, or this sounds too aggressive, or I don't want this in it. And it's like, oh, I'm really sorry. And it actually talked to me like a human, you're right. And then it referred to something back that I typed probably about 2 weeks ago and was like, based on that, then now I realize why I've done this. And I'm like, I got more sense out of that than I did on this phone call yesterday with Google. I was ready to stab people. You saw me. I was so mad. I was like, this is getting so escalated because you're just not dealing with what's going on. Like, stop giving me the shit I don't need. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Miss Kirstey. Like, fucking shut up. I don't care. You're not.
Yeah, they're not sorry because they have, but yeah. So, but these companies have. They've put so many firewalls and so many like I was trying to okay, so to my point about being a big Cubs fan, I the MLB app that I watch all of my out of market Cubs games on, I've had it for 20 years since I've lived out here. I've had it almost every year, and it's always been MLB. I think it was owned by MLB or something, but Major League Baseball. But this season, it was purchased by ESPN. And in order to get the full season, you had to buy the monthly thing of ESPN, the channel, the app of the channel. I'm like, I don't even want that. I just want MLB. I just want to watch baseball games, specifically the Cubs, when I want, And so you had to buy the 1 month of ESPN, which I did. $30, bullshit, but did it. And then I try to cancel it and they're like, oh, that website's no longer in service. So then it's like, now I'm dealing with PayPal. I'm trying to, because I ran it through PayPal and oh, we don't, it's like, why does this have to be so layered on it? I just want, if people just treated you, if businesses just treated you on the surface of hey, when you want something, you get it. And when you don't want something, you can cancel anytime, but they don't tell you you're going to go through your own personal 7 layers of Don Quixote's Inferno to get to it, right? It's fuck, I just want to cancel this. Can you just make it easy? And then guess what? When I want it again, I'll come back. It's it's very and I guess we didn't even plan this topic, but I guess we're full of it tonight. We're just piss and vinegar. We're gonna fucking let them know, right? So.
Well, I am, because I think for me, it goes hand in hand with the fact that time is disappearing. And so for me, time's really important. I'm trying to do as much as I can, but if it's going to take me literally 5 hours yesterday on customer service, first with Wix and then onto Google, and the left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing, and everyone was handing me off to someone else, and then they cut you off, and I'm like, oh my God, it's another day's gone. And it's just really frustrating. So, yeah. It's frustrating. I'm just bitching.
Does anybody else out there have any customer service challenges and any frustrations with challenging in English speaking customer service? So I love the Ivy. Yep. Hey, bro, listen, Wrigley Field is like no other experience. That is the cathedral, in my opinion, of watching a baseball game. So Brad, I'm living vicariously through you, brother. Super jealous. Hopefully it's not too cold there tonight. Robert, how you doing, brother? How's it going? I got your speaker in the back of my car. What's up, Ruby? Yeah, definitely it is a bucket list stadium. I am hoping to get back there this summer at some point. I've been saying that for since COVID. I haven't been to a Cubs game inside since before COVID. So it really is. I was spoiled to grow up going to that park. I didn't know what I didn't know as a kid. You just go there, but it was I mean, it was great. I knew it was an awesome stadium, but didn't realize. Yeah. Anyway, so just glad that you're enjoying it. Hopefully the Cubs prevail. You get to hear "Go Cubs Go" at the end of the game when they win. So, but yeah. So what did we have on the agenda to discuss this evening? And would you like to get into that topic?
Well, we can share what we did on Monday night if you want.
So today is Wednesday. What did we do Monday? Oh, hey, well, look at us. What? Badminton.
As you may or may not know, the Met Gala was on Monday night, and yeah, there we are.
That is, I don't know why, as the guy who grew up outside of Chicago, the AI would have me with a New York themed outfit there. I had heard that you did this little project, but I didn't see it before the show. But
again, to the point of AI, I said, because it knew stuff about us already that I've put in, and I was like, put us in at the Met Gala, and I was like, design us a costume based on our personalities and everything you know about us. And I put in like our height and our weight. It had a photo of us and all this kind of stuff. And apparently,
you know my weight. You know my weight.
Yeah. Well, I guess to the nearest 10 pounds.
You're probably off by 20. Hopefully you guessed this way, not that way, right?
Yeah. I'm like, what? You look like the Tin Man. I'm like, what is that? I mean, no.
Yeah, I need some oil.
It's really interesting, like what that outfit is. Like this, is that the World Trade Center? Or is that, what is that on your head?
It's the Empire State Building.
Oh, it's the Empire State. Okay.
And I don't know what all of the whole like suit part of it is. It looks like a. I don't know. It looks like a Gautier. It looks like a Gautier video. Somebody that I used to know. What is that thing? Oh man! Right? Yeah, you look like Tina Turner. Look at you.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this dress would have to do with me. Yeah. So apparently that's us. That's what AI thinks of us. But no, we weren't at the Met Gala, obviously. Because what do we think about? What do you think about the Met Gala? Or were we? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so this is a good segue into the ridiculousness of the Met Gala. I have no punches to pull on this. I think it's the stupidest thing, and good for people who love it. I guess I just shared that I love Cubs games and Wrigley Field. Went on a whole tangent about my MLB app, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that think that I waste countless hours enjoying that. So to each their own. All the love for you as an individual, but I think this event is the most ridiculous. Like it is the most let them eat cake event of the year. Like this is just a middle finger to regular people, and it's like all of the who's who just gets together and just flaunts how anyway, it's just my view of it. It's such a ridiculous thing, but you're more into fashion, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on this because I could give two F words about it.
We know you're a fashionista.
No, not at all. I'm wearing a stupid t-shirt that I've had for 10 years. So I'm wearing it's a superhero t-shirt. It just I'm ridiculous in my own way, but at least it's not the Empire State Building on my head.
So I can tell you what I know about it, but I don't care about it. I would have. So when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a fashion designer. That never happened for reasons I won't go into now. But if I was a fashion designer, this would be the epitome. It would just be like the event of the entire year in all of the world that you would want to dress somebody for, because it is the one time where you can be completely extravagant, no holds barred, there's no dress code other than you're given a theme and you're going to dress celebrities. So you're going to create the most looked at piece of art. It's usually like a ridiculous, it's not practical. So as you would have seen from some of the pictures, it's something that you can't walk in, sit in, or whatever. It's just literally to create drama and, face, whatever you want to call it. So if you are a fashion designer, this would be the pinnacle event that you would design for. If you're not a fashion designer, then basically it's looking at a bunch of celebrities that you may or may not give any shits about. And like you said, it's just a demonstration of wealth. It's like you have to be invited. You can't just go. You have to be invited by Anna Wintour, who is the owner of Vogue magazine. So it's all the darlings, it's all the Illuminati puppets, and they're all and it's supposed to be a charity event, so everyone's paying like tens of millions of dollars in order to attend and donate and so on. And so it's the 1% that have all been, and usually there's a theme, but the theme is usually, it's kind of like how the Olympics are, and you have the Olympic ceremony beforehand, and it's like a what do you call it? Like a what's that term when you the
opening ceremony? Oh,
yeah.
gotcha.
When you have the opening ceremony, it's like the foreshadowing of what's going to happen over the next.
Yeah, like the year that they did it of COVID, and then like all the kids were laying in gurneys and what like had nurses around them. Like, oh wow! And then we had a major outbreak happen. Pandemic, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. So there was, if you look at all the people's outfits and where all the attention's gone, it's all about just AI and transhumanism and all of these. It's just really, if you sit and study it and you're looking at it with a critical thinking eye, you'll see all the patterns there. It's brutal. So yeah, it's just a complete bunch of crap.
Like, is there anyone who's watching us right now that like just loves the Met Gala and that like this is like really important to them? Like maybe a Cubs game would be to me, because I would love to hear a different perspective, because I think it's insane, but I'm open to the conversation, because I think it's basically, I just think it's such a show of extravagance in a way, especially in a time when unemployment's up, people are struggling, inflation's high, gases. I talked to a guy yesterday who's in California. He's a federal employee, and he helps veterans cope with PTSD. He himself is a veteran that has had PTSD and other challenges. And so, great dude. I had a great conversation with him. And he was like, I just filled up my truck. And to fill up his truck, he said, was $140. Wow. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like, that's insane to fill up your gas tank. I'm presuming that it's not, like high-end fuel, just the regular stuff. And it's like, when in a time when people are struggling to make ends meet, and a time when things aren't really rocking, our country seems to be focused in a lot of ways on helping other countries. There's all the stuff of like going on with the White House, building that out, whatever that is, right? A data center, other conspiracy stuff of data centers, whatever's going on down there. The would-be assassination attempt number 2, that has a lot of people in the conspiracy theory world raising an eyebrow, even conservatives who would have otherwise supported it. It's just weird stuff going on. Charlie Kirk, all of that, and then meanwhile we have the time and energy and resources to go out and spend all of all this money on a Met Gala. Yeah. So Brendan, what do you think? Data center, like, we can get into that. Like, is that what's really going on underneath the ballroom at the White House, or what's up with all the data centers? How do you feel about them? We had a friend over the other day, and she's not on that I've seen yet, but we were talking about data centers, and on one hand, I think AI and all of the things that are happening with AI, it's like a tool, right? Can it be good? Sure. Are there challenges potentially? We need to talk about it.
Well, I think data centers. Part of the question was if we already have AI and all these things are already happening, then haven't we already thought about that 20 years ago in terms of what we would need for data centers? What are we needing more for? Like, where's that all coming from? And
why? Yeah, and why is it like you hear nothing about data centers, and then now all of a sudden it's like this big topic, right? Like, and it's not like it's like the Trojan horse, right? It's like, it's not like, oh, we might have one, we might not. No, they're being built, and all of the environmental challenges, all of the concerns of the monopolization of resources. Like, has that been vetted out? Like, do we know that? Do we know what does the ends justify the means, or where are we at with that?
Well, it's everything's the push for electric cars, for all of that, getting rid of well, Brendan will know about that because he's in the energy sector, but getting rid of all the fossil fuels and everything in favor of, and then saying that the power grid can't hold it. Come on. You wouldn't be doing all of this if the power grid could hold it. And then we can get into free electricity and free energy and that kind of stuff too.
Tesla, not right? The company, but Tesla, the man, right. He was into that. And, okay. So I want to vet this out. Brendan would love to have, did you just put it on and I just took it off? Okay. Gotcha.
I was trying to put it up. Yeah.
Yep. Would love to have you on to discuss this because you're in the energy sector. That's part of the work you do. And I'm going to admit that I am ignorant to this overall, but I love the conversation because I think when it's too late to have the conversation, it's too late. So I think just having it, and maybe it is too late. Maybe it's already too late. I don't know, but.
Are you saying the power grid can hold what's needed in most countries? Exactly. It's like they're saying that the world is overpopulated and we've driven from one end of the states to the other. There is no way that the world is overpopulated at all. It's just bullshit. It's just what they're telling people.
Yeah, that's another whole conversation. But let's just make the point, right? Mm-hmm. For people who think the world is overpopulated, put your iPhone down, put your laptop down, and go drive. Maybe not in Europe. I mean, I think you can make the argument that if you're in certain highly populated areas in Europe, great. Right. But go drive across the United States. Go drive north and south, east and west. Go drive across Canada. Go drive, and I'm going to presume in the outer reaches of Asia and so forth. I can't say that I've personally done that, but in North America, I've driven significant distances, and we went out like an entire day without really, except for a little pocket of towns. Like there was nobody anywhere, so it's not overpopulated. I just think that's a New World Order talking point. Yeah. Carry on. I haven't had a chance to read the comments. So you're.
I haven't done anything. I'm waiting for you to read and finish. I thought.
No, I'm just saying. I don't think the world's overpopulated. So jump in.
Yeah, no, it's not at all. Ruby's saying that all that empty space. I'm just reading the comments here.
Yeah, I would be curious about the correlation between how much people have driven in these spaces and then their belief of how overpopulated we are. I think there's a correlation to that.
Yeah. Okay, are you hitting the comments or am I?
Go ahead. I kind of think there's a tag team effort here.
No, I know, but if you turn them on, then I turn them off, and so on and so on. So just keep going. Amazon, a great example of using AI and related computing without drawing all the power. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's already hit. You wouldn't create the system without knowing what was coming. So, and that's what we've said before, is that anything that just comes up that we're just finding out about has already been planned and signed off for, 20 years ago, at least, probably hundreds of years ago. I mean, it's just that's the thing that I just feel like it's just a whole plan that's been laid out. We are the last people to know about anything. And I think we're fooled into thinking that we have some say over what's going on.
I think the Amazonians would say, hold my beer. We're the last to know anything. But
no, Amazon, not the Amazonians.
No, okay, Siberians. Pick a culture that is removed from Western civilization. Like the people who live in the backwoods of China, like they're probably not the last. I would argue they're last on the list more than we are. Certainly, we hear about things, but I think this, to your point, I think a lot of what we get now is our spoon-fed technology. I think is stuff that government has known about for at least 50 years, if not 100. I mean, I think this stuff is old to them, but new to us,
Exactly. Dax, a little contrarian here. So because there's lots of natural land, the world can't be overpopulated. Well, clearly not.
What is how would you define overpopulation? Because overpopulation is overpopulation. If there's room for everyone and resources for everyone. Now, do people like T. Boone Pickens, who controls all the water, like are there are there bottlenecks and strangleholds on resources? 100%. I mean, look at what Monsanto's doing. They've ruined small farms and they've made it where it's big agriculture. But do I think there's not enough land and space for all the people? I just find I push back on that because I don't. But I would love to hear your thoughts on that because natural land. And then what would you do about overpopulation? I guess if you're Bill Gates, you just give people vaccines that kill them. Well, there's that whole thing with India. That's what the Indian government says. It's not me saying it. So it's there is all that. But that's where I like to be. I like to be a little controversial. So Dax, love the input, love the comment. I'd like to have a follow up to that point on how you and let me ask you: have you driven personally, Dax, across the country, north, south, east, west? Have you? I'm not saying you haven't. I'm asking, have you done those drives? Because I think it would be hard to do those drives and then feel like there's overpopulation. But what say you? I'd love to hear your feedback.
I think more than anything, it's referring to resources, but then if you're going to grow cities and you're going to grow countries, then you don't do that without prior planning of resources in order that it's going to work. I mean, that's what you do when you plan for cities and so on. So we're definitely not overpopulated. There is so much land and so much space for everybody to live in. It's just more of a case of, what do we need? And it's just fed to us to make us feed us scarcity. There is no such thing as scarcity. It's just the people that are controlling it that make you think that there's scarcity. Because if you take all of those people that are at the Met Gala and take their net worth, imagine what you could do with that amount of money for the countries that don't have money, apparently, and the people that don't have money, or even if you put it into states, countries, or whatever.
Yeah,
it's insane.
We've got veterans that have served this country that are homeless, living under bridges, but we send billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel and all over the world, which, cool, they need help, but don't you think we should help I personally think we should take care of those here first. That's my personal view.
I think that's a human condition.
Wouldn't you take care of your own household before you start giving? Like, if you're so humanitarian, then like go give your last dollar to somebody outside of you take care of your own home first. Right. And I don't think that's. But let's react to
the
this.
Oxygen mask theory, right? You can't help everyone else if you don't have enough oxygen for yourself. So it's not about being selfish and never helping anyone else. But if you've got people in your own front yard that are all a mess and dying and failing, you got to help those people to then be able to have them on your side to then go and help further out. You can't just throw everything out there and leave everybody around you suffering. So same thing.
Yeah, and do I want us to occupy all that land? No, I don't want it to be like, for any of you Star Wars fans, that like Coruscant, the capital city of the Republic, where there's literally no land. It's all a big metropolitan area, like city across the whole world. No, I think that's... But so what comes with the whole notion of overpopulation is this whole idea of like, you're just a useless eater, 15-minute cities, government oversight. There's a lot of it's a lot of manipulation, in my opinion, that they use this fear tactic of overpopulation. Like, you don't have enough. There isn't enough for you or your people. So you can eat bugs, but they're flying around in their own personal private jets. Like, how does that make sense to anyone? I think the whole thing is a little manipulative. Now, do I think we should be responsible with the environment? Do I think we should make smarter decisions about like how we could manage resources? Certainly, but I don't believe in overpopulation at all. As a matter of fact, the birth rates for Western civilizations have gone down. Like the sperm rates, birth rates, all of it, like people wanting kids, all that stuff's gone down. I'm not concerned about overpopulation. Not at all. I think that's a fear tactic they use. But I love the conversation. I prove me wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then if you go look at like third world countries that are like where birth rates are higher, like the resources may be depleted there. But in terms of a global problem of overpopulation, I don't think that we're anywhere near, having a problem. But I'm not a scientist, so, I'm just a Green Lantern t-shirt wearing guy. So this is the issue with capitalism. Which system do you prefer over capitalism? Which one's better? Which one solves the problem? Small scale nuclear power generation. Let's explore this. And Dax would love to hear. Sorry, babe. Okay. Dax would love to hear your follow up to capitalism being the problem. I don't fully disagree, but I don't know that there's a better system. Would love to hear your thoughts, because if you say communism or socialism, can have a problem there, because it doesn't really. I don't really see where those systems have benefited the masses. They've benefited the people who were at the top, but capitalism has so far been. Sure, it's definitely more complicated. But let's talk about. And we'll come back to that. But let's talk about small nuclear power generation. I grew up in a town of 2,000 people, just a couple hours west of Chicago. I've said that many times, but for those that might be new to the show, and in my hometown was a nuclear power plant. And I lived literally in the shadows of it for about 4 years. The farm that I grew up on was in the shadow. It wasn't active when I lived there, but the farm that I lived on was across the street from the nuclear plant. So before The Simpsons made nuclear plants more mainstream, I lived in that environment. And originally I was scared of it. I was kind of, nuclear, but learned that it's actually a very clean, very safe energy when run properly. So, and I do think, to Brandon's point, that smaller versions of that, especially as we learn more about, and I've got a client who works here at the Palo Verde nuclear plant, which is, I think, the second largest nuclear plant in the United States. He believes that fusion is a viable energy source in the not real distant future. So that would be interesting. Fusion versus fission. So socialism doesn't benefit the masses, only benefit true. Yeah. So do you prefer socialism? What would be your, my question is, what is better to capitalism to you, Dax? What would be the solution? Can you, in a socialistic country, can you go be is there a middle class? Is there a group of people that can have a better than like survival level of, which I would argue the United States has a blend of socialism, not so much capitalism or communism, but more socialism and capitalism. So I don't think we're a pure capitalistic society either. But when you've got a Federal Reserve, you kind of get rid of the whole idea of a free market, because you've got controls on the financial, so on the money source and the money supply. So that's kind of nerding out a little bit for Meat Sweats and Menopause, but
keep going. It's where everyone's diving in the conversation, so it's cool. And Dax has got a response to that too. He says, I think you're confusing socialism with communism.
Yeah, yep. For sure. They do kind of get used interchangeably, but I'm asking, and Dax looking forward to the answer, which system do you prefer over capitalism, since you're sounding like not a fan of capitalism? I just want to give you a chance to voice what you think would be a better way for, I would say, the United States specifically, and then beyond that, to other countries, to what do you think would be the way? Like, how do we get out of this? Because I'm agreeing with you on a lot of this. Like, our whole point about the Met is it's sort of this like let them eat cake exuberance that meanwhile unemployment rates are up, inflation's higher, like people are struggling. And so even under the capitalistic society that we have now, which isn't a true free market, I'm asking, like, what do people think is the better way?
Okay. Katana, go on.
Sorry, I was trying to give Go ahead. Go back. You go ahead and run that one. Have we gotten too deep for Meat Sweats and Menopause?
No, just keep talking. It's
10 minutes ago, we had a goofy picture of me with an Empire State Building hat on.
And this is what happens. And deep conversations are good as long as everyone's getting some input. So
yeah, I love it. Yeah. So what did Katana say?
I just didn't.
Let's go back to that. Then we'll get to Dax.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead. You already were about to read it.
We wouldn't be overpopulated if everyone was self-sufficient, which I agree with. Think about minimum amount of what's that? Minimum amount of, I don't know what that is. A spell check. Think about minimum amount of something to be self-sustainable, an amount of people, and then land. We've got tons of space if we were self-sufficient. Oh, minimum amount of, what is that? Labor? I don't know what that would be. Minimum amount of.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, that's my thing, is that if everybody, and this has always been my thing, this happened in COVID too. If you take care of yourself, no one else has to worry about you. They're free to take care of themselves too. And then if everyone's taking care of themselves too, then guess what you have the time and space and energy for? To help other people if they need it. But ultimately, everybody is okay. So whether you apply that to a pandemic, or whether you apply it to land or to money or to labor or the world or energy or whatever, that's it. It's like, take care of yourself, own yourself, have some accountability, be responsible. And if you take care of your energy, your mind, your money, your feelings, all of those things, then you're not becoming a burden on anybody else. And that's ultimately what accountability is. And it's being an adult.
And there were sure.
And I feel like this society, what's happened is that the government have raised us from an early age, telling us that we can't do that we have to be dependent on what's outside of us. And then guess what's outside of us? The systems that they provide, which makes us reliant on those systems, which then control us. And that's how it works. So if you want to be free, if you want to be a free thinker, free mind, live freely, then you wouldn't be relying so heavily on those systems, which now become overburdened, which is intentional. Because you want to put people in fear and you want to be able to control them so that you have control. If you've got all of these free thinkers and you can't control them, well, then you're not going to be in control.
The government doesn't want that. They want you to be, that's why they have public schooling. They want you to all sing from the same hymnal. That's why religion wants you to all sing from the same. Like, we don't want independence. We don't want creative. We want, so in that vein of like, so there's two philosophies, well, there's probably more, but like there's kind of a core tenet, and there's the idea that if you take care of yourself and you get to the point where you've got more than enough, then you can share that more than enough with others, right? And then there's the other side of the coin that is everybody should be taken care of first and foremost, and that for those who have more, we should almost punish them for their abundance, right? So I think there's an ethical dilemma. There's an ethical aspect to this that I think is left out of it, because it's not that simple. Anyone who expects something like no strings attached, I would want to have a conversation of why they would feel like. Why do you feel like other people have to get up and go to work while you lay around and do nothing? Now, if you're sick, if you're injured, if you have a disability, if you are old and you can't work anymore, should society take care of the people who need to be protected? I think we can have that conversation. I think that's a fair thing. But if you're an able-bodied person who can go contribute, why wouldn't you feel like you should go out and go produce and help others? Like, isn't it your duty to help other people as much as you'd want, more than, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying this right.
What's interesting to me is what I'm observing is that for the people that think that everything should be shared out equally are the same people that worship all of these fucking billionaires at the Met Gala. They're all like, Hollywood or whatever, thinking they're so wonderful, when those are the people that are the billionaires and have everything and aren't doing those things. Like I said, if you took all those people at the Met Gala and asked them to put that all of their or half their net worth, they'd be able to help everyone else out, but they don't. And that's what's so stupid. Is that people are completely blinded.
It's even more complicated than that. If you look at billionaires as being like one, I don't even know what the percentage is off the top of my head, but let's say it's 1% of 1%, right? Like it's like a minute number of the overall society. Most people have nowhere near that net worth. And so I think if we were all to kind of like really all agree on something, it's like the billionaires can be the problem in a lot of ways. But it's kind of like what I've noticed the last few years is people have their favorite billionaire. So like one political side has like, we think Bill Gates is great and that the other side thinks he's evil, but then the other side's like, well, Elon Musk is my billionaire that I think is doing great. And the other side's like, I hate him. Like, do you guys, is it possible that maybe like they're all self-serving fucks that need that we all should be like, none of you guys have our best interests at heart. Like, and I think when we, the people, like really get that, that's when I'm not going to fight with Dax. He and I are not aligned, probably on some things, but I would bet that we agree on a lot more than we disagree on. And so that's why I love the platform here, is just to have the conversations. I don't want to shut anyone down. And it's cool to disagree. We need to be able to disagree in this country without having a tantrum and then having everyone go take their ball and go home. Like, and that's what I really hope at the end of the day, like when we build this, I want to have those conversations so that we can all go, because I really do take things that Dak says and others that like I don't necessarily go think about that. And unfortunately, most people have their little sandbox that they live in, and they don't really look to outside views, and they only want to be validated from their own echo chamber, and they don't really want to be challenged. And when we have cool conversations, and I'm not trying to have a TED talk here, then we can actually all grow together. Because there's problems, and it's getting tricky out there. It's getting harder, and I just feel there's just.
But that's the point: is that when you zoom out and you start, everybody's so caught up in what's going on down here, and it's tribalism. It's just like we'll fight you against you, and we'll separate and we'll diversify and all the rest of it to keep you weak. So who's doing that? Well, if you pull right out, it's the governments. And if you pull right out of that, it's like who's owning the governments. And that's what we need to look at, because all of the governments, the media, and all of this control systems are all owned by somebody else, right? There's something else going on, which is just bigger than all of that stuff. And most people aren't looking at things at that level. They're getting caught up at the lower levels, which is what's dividing families, work situations, friends. That's what's, and as long as we're all fighting, and as long as our egos,
it's like look at this shiny object while you guys,
we all think we're better than somebody else. That's what keeps us busy. So if we're busy, if we're weak, if we're divided, if we're fighting, if we're stressed out, if we're just following along, or if we've decided to shut down because we don't want anything to do with it, guess who wins? Not us, but something way bigger that is just controlling the population of how you want to control it, right?
Yep. And so when you talk about working harder and having more in this post that Dax is making, like look at some of these countries who are like the cost of like we are in our own fish tank so much that it's hard to have structures, perspective sometimes on this. Like when we go to Mexico, the cost, like we have a small little place down there. It's nothing extravagant at all. It's just our little place. But the cost to run that place for the year is $5,000 for two people. $5,000. I mean, like even on minimum wage, you could probably make that work if you could find that type of work. Like we both work online, so we're able to be in Mexico and make American dollars or Canadian dollars. So you look at countries like El Salvador, and you look at some of these places where people are expatriating too, like where the cost of living is a lot lower. Like, why is it so expensive here? Why are they just strangling people and reducing the cost of living? If you look at like relative to inflation, if you look at like, like the boomers. Not trying to get anyone triggered, any of the boomers triggered that might be watching, but like the way that they raise their kids, the purchasing power and strength of the dollar relative to things they were buying, like houses and healthcare and cars and putting their kids through college and all that stuff, like relative to the income, their purchasing power was much stronger than ours. And so I look at things like the central banks. You look at who controls the central banks and the powers that be and the whole Wall Street. And I'm in the financial industry. So like, why don't we hold more of these things accountable and keep the purchasing power and your labor having more net value than what it was even 2 generations ago? Like, it's insane that we just accept all this stuff, that it's just the way that it is. And it's not, I would say that it's capitalism, but it's also central banks and that sort of thing. So Dax, I'd love to hear your solution outside of capitalism. I've asked a couple times. So yes, what would you prefer if you could just wave a magic wand? What do you think's better than capitalism? No wars, no big disintegration of society. Like, if we could just wave a magic wand and say, today capitalism closes and tomorrow morning you get, what say you? I
think the fact that, and I will just bring this down to a basic level. We were talking about this the other night. We were talking about how we're watching the show. What's that show called? The bar show with the guy on the bar.
Oh, Bar Rescue. Yeah.
Bar Rescue. I don't know if any of you ever seen it, but it's kind of like this dude goes in and takes failing bar businesses and turns them around, kind of like Gordon Ramsay does with Kitchen Nightmares, right? So, and Tabitha Coffey does hair salons, right? Beauty salons. So the idea is you get, they're going in, they're looking at what's not working, and they're ripping people to shit and turning it all around and making it all work, right? But it's the same thing. It's ownership. And we were just talking about like jobs that we had when we were kids, and we worked in restaurants and burger bars, and I worked at TGI Fridays and so on. And I said, one of the things that really taught me a lot in a restaurant, I mean, I was, we did all different things, but as servers, like, we were accountable for everything that we were selling. We had on a TV screen that was up by the cashier stand, that every time we wrote a ticket and put the order in, that information got put on a screen, and every single server could see what they'd sold so far. And when they hit a certain amount, it meant that instead of taking home like the minimum wage that they were paid, you would go onto a commission rate.
So that's almost like a mini socialism versus capitalism. Like, here's the basic minimum income that everyone gets, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, gotcha.
That's what I'm trying to share, is the fact that when you become accountable for knowing what you've got and knowing what more you can do and where that can take you, you suddenly have these 18-year-olds that are making a ton of money. And we did, because we were inspired to do that. It's like, you might feel uncomfortable having, when your boss says, like, you need to upsell your drinks, you need to sell premium brand alcohol cocktails instead of regular brand, or you need to try and sell a side of fries with everything. I mean, I'm making this so basic because it's the same thing when you look at governments of how that all works, is that if you understand what happens when you do these little things and how they personally affect you, you now become more inspired to understand the big picture. And all of that shit is kept away from us. It's all reliant on, go and see your, your financial professional, or go see your, everything. No, I'm just saying, like, we're not, when we're in school, we're told the basics, but we're not told how it personally affects us.
We're taught dumb shit that doesn't fucking matter. Right. Like, why do I need to make numbers equal letters?
Which is why
with algebra,
and they're not motivated to be there. It's like, when you understand how something physically affects you, like, I think I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but it's just like, if you think like the kids that took home chicks, or babies that cried to find out what it's like to have a child, you had a bag of flour or whatever it was you had to look after. When you take things home that really affect you, then you start to have an awareness of, this is how it affects me, how's it going to affect other people. Those are the things that I think that we should all be, learning as we grow up, so that we take accountability for ourselves. But we're not. A lot of those things aren't there. And so, I think that's how society is no one cares about anyone else. It's like, I got mine, I don't really care. Or like, everyone should be the same, and I should sit back and have that all fed to me as well. And I just think that's
agreed.
It's all by design when you zoom out and look at it all. It's there.
So I know you're not American, but we the people, and I know you've been here long enough to know what that, you've heard this, we the people. Mm-hmm. It's not the ode to the president or ode to the congressman or congress lady. Like, it's we the people. So I think this, and to Emily's point, it's not one big solution. It's what is there, 350 million people in the United States and like 25 million in Canada and I'm not sure how many in Mexico. Like, when we all start taking personal accountability for ourselves,
right?
I think when you become the best version of yourself, then that makes the society that you are a part of better. Its best version. Because if you've got the best version of and if everyone's empowered to wake up to that and to say, hey, you have value in our society, you can do this. But because you couldn't, answer a test, like in our current system, like if you don't answer a test the right way, you get branded the dummy and you get put in the dumb kid classes and you get a label, right? And like, well, what if you didn't have that? What if you're the brilliant kid, even though you can't read, but like some people can fix anything. Some people have a mind for technology. Some people are creative, so they're artistic. Some people can cook and do all that stuff. Like, why isn't all that like fostered? And like, whatever your thing is that you're good at, that our school system and our society embraces that and says, you are a rock star in that. Now, you might suck at algebra. Like, I'm really good at a lot of things, but I failed algebra in high school and I did take summer school. So, like, not everyone can be good at algebra, but yet they cram that shit down our throats, and everyone has to, even the artistic kids who are great at, now the algebra teacher, if you were to go make that person go sit in art class and do art, they'd probably be like, oh, this is stupid. Well, yeah, that's how we feel about algebra, but you're not wrong. They're not wrong. Like, Gianna, my daughter, does tattoos. Her artistic ability is off the charts. Mm-hmm. But is she great at algebra? No. Jillian can sing. She's a great singer.
Well, she speaks languages.
And she speaks multiple languages. Yeah. And so Joey he's great at algebra because that's the way his mind works. And so within my own family, like my 3 kids, like like each one of them has their skill set, and I wouldn't cram. No. And I'm like, I love what each one of them are great at. I don't focus on what they suck at. I'm like, hey, I wouldn't make Joey go sing a solo. Jillian sang a national anthem at a Major League spring training game. And like, Gianna does tattoos. Like, Joey wouldn't do either of those things, but he's freaking amazing at coding and algebra. And Ruby and Sadie, like Ruby's amazing with animals, and Sadie's amazing with, she's really good at art. I'm not going to take it, but she's really, and I'm not sure about her algebra skills, so I don't want to speak to that, but, sorry, Sadie, if you're watching. But the point is, they're all great, and this is just our kids we're talking about, right? So like, that's society as a whole. Not everyone's the same, and why are they trying to fit all the square pegs into the round holes? And like, just all be, let's figure out a way to where we can all be,
well, there's a use for everything.
Successful within our own skill set, right? So
right, yeah, totally. But depending on what government is in power, they will depend. It's like when I applied to be, when I left. This is a really good example, actually. When I left England, I emigrated to Canada, and it was on a point system. And depending on when you applied, the point system will change. Based on you have to get so many points to be able to apply, and it was based on a lot of things that you couldn't change. So some of it was based on your qualifications you got at school. That was like 20 years prior, so I mean, there's nothing I could do about that. Some of it was on languages you speak, jobs that you'd had, whether you had relatives that were Canadian or not, how old you were, your medical records. I mean, there was stuff that you just couldn't really affect, but there was a whole list that changes every 6 months. Which is point system for careers that you have. So what is it that you're qualified to do? Well, if Canada needs doctors and you happen to be a doctor, well, you're going to get straight in because you've got top points. But it just changed when we applied, and it happened that it was IT skills. And so my husband at the time was new in IT and didn't have a ton of experience, but because of that, he's, he was suddenly top of the list more than a brain surgeon was. So it was like just lucky for us that some of those things like helped us get in, but like it changes all the time based on what the country needs. So everybody's skill is valuable. It really doesn't matter. And I hate the fact that we have this society that will just deem that if you're not academic, then you're useless. And I think that's actually changing now.
I think so too.
We were saying, like, with how people are learning online, people are learning trades now, which are becoming more and more important because a lot of the academic skills, the academic skills are becoming replaced by AI. So, but is AI going to be able to cut your hair or fix your leaky sink or fix your car or whatever? Maybe at some point, but not right now, because those are the skills that people are going to need. So those people are going to be determined to be, much more high level. But it's fascinating to me that we just don't recognize people being human. I think being, humanity is what's really important. Communication,
especially as all this, like, sort of like we're on the precipice of, all this technology stuff with we are able to connect more now than ever, but yet we are less connected than ever in a lot of ways. So
totally. Yeah, no, I agree with that too. I mean, we've talked about that before, just even people get more confident with things online because they're not having to say things to people's faces. So in a way, it opens things up. People are sending dare I say it, if you just think of like the dating scene, people are like sending dick pics. Like, would you actually go and do that if you met someone face to face in the pub? Would you just like knock it out and go, hey, look at this, what do you think, want to take me home? Like, would you do that? No, but you do it online.
I know some guys that might, but yeah, I mean,
online has opened things up, but then people just don't want to deal with things in reality. Like, would you ever actually get to go on a date? Because people would just keep texting and never go and meet you face to face. So I mean,
a lot of people who are keyboard warriors, they'll say a lot of shit to you through the internet, but they wouldn't say it to your face. Right. So Dax just wanted to respond to this. Yes, I'm in the financial industry. And do I paint with a broad stroke and think that nobody should learn how to make letters equal numbers in terms of algebra and algebraic skills? No, I'm saying that people who are good at it should, and the people who suck at it shouldn't be forced to go do it. Like people who are good at art or cooking or mechanics or whatever it might be, because they don't need to know the algebra. They need to know how the people who do know the algebra, that do all of the equations. So we all work together. You might not ever be able, like, I'm going to guess you're not great at everything, Dax, that you probably rely on other people who are good at things that you're not good at, that you have to leverage. And I'm just saying the people that are good at algebra should go do algebra, but leave the people who aren't good at algebra, because it's such a big part of the curriculum. You don't just take a semester of algebra. In my kid's school, they had to take 3 years of it. And so does a kid who's really good at art really need 3 years of algebra? No, they don't. I'm just telling you they don't. And does a kid who's really good at algebra need to go do solos out on a stage in front of an audience? Probably not. So do you. The kid who's really good at making sourdough, let him make sourdough. Right? Like, it's not a slight against anyone. I'm not trying to I think this is like a little bit of nitpicking, because it's like, I think it's like, should you have a taste of it? Sure. Maybe give everyone a little taste of it to see if that's the path you should go down. But do I think your high school diploma should depend on something that you absolutely fail at 3 years in a row? Like, I think that's a lot of pressure and a label that gets put on people. Just like maybe you're the kid in, like, I'm from Illinois, and so we had PE every day in Illinois. So if you're not the kid who is good at playing basketball or the kid who's good at running a mile, let's say your high school diploma depends on you running the mile in under 5 minutes. That's what it's like to put the kid who sucks at algebra and have to go there every day. Like, and that's all I'm saying is, like, let's identify the athletes. Let's like put people in a position of success rather than a position of failure. And I'm not dismissing that. That they all have their place, right?
Is it good that everyone should exercise every day? Sure, but they don't have to do the 5-minute mile. So, like you just said, like you give a little. It's the same with like the difference between English and math. English and math, you are the core competencies. You always have to take those. Extra languages are something that you might have to try, but then you don't have to keep it up, because as long as you speak English, if you live in an English-speaking country, that's clearly important. Just because, like, whether it's important that you know all the literature and stuff, that's another thing. But if you to learn how to communicate and have conversations and leverage all these things is important. But is it, you should know basic percentages, probably math that's to do with taxes or to do with work or things that you're going to have in your life, understanding percentages and things like that. Those things are important because everyone uses those things all the time. But algebra, I mean, that's nuts, really, isn't it?
It's important. It's important for the people. Algebra is great for the people who use algebra. For the rest of us, and I am in the financial industry, and I have calculators, and I work with people who are better at math than me. And so, the real core people who are really good at the math side of financial stuff aren't necessarily the best people to communicate those numbers to the people to implement financial planning tools. So, sales is a skill too. I think if you were to go put a lot of people that are good at stuff behind the scenes out in a sales situation, we could all laugh at that too. Just like somebody who's an art person trying to do algebra. Like I'm not dismissing anyone, but go do it. Go do shit that you suck at, and then be told like this is your high school diploma depends on you doing that. Like whatever it might be, sales, singing a solo out on a stage, running a 5-minute mile, whatever it might be. Like I'm not trying to get hung up on algebra here, but not everyone's good at algebra is all I'm saying. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
anyway,
I agree with you, Dan. I'm saying the same thing here for sure. And it's awful that. And here's the thing: like the people that I work with are actually believing that they are a failure as a human being because they failed an algebra exam. And I'm making that sound, but it's just little.
I think that's like my point.
That we learned in childhood. Our childhood was all about our parents and school and our friends and family. Like that was our world then. School was like 50% of our life, if not more. Like we probably spent all day at school and maybe, 20% of that time with our parents in the evening. So school was a huge part of our life. And to be told that you're a failure because you don't understand something, and then you grow up as an adult still having that story in your head that you're a failure, now that's causing problems in your job, in your relationships, in your friendships, in everything. And you're just will to live, right? You just have that story playing. I'm a failure. I'm a failure. You forget the algebra part, but you just keep hearing I'm a failure. And so that's why people are struggling. So it is really important that, where you spend your time is productive for you.
Agreed. And I think people should do because if you're good at something, that probably means you enjoy doing it, right? So if you enjoy doing something and you're good at it and it brings value, you can somehow make that bring value to society, then all boats rise. So why would you put someone who hates doing algebra in an algebra job and someone who sucks at, cooking, culinary arts in a job that like, just go put the people. And to me, it's simple. Like everyone's happy doing what they do because they love it and they're great at it. Then all boats rise. It just seems like a common solution instead of like how many people really want to wake up, get on a damn train, commute for an hour, or get in their car and go on a highway and go commute and and like go sit in a cube all day or in a like most people probably don't want to do that stuff. So like if you can find something that you really love doing, you should, in my opinion.
That's humanity. Ultimately, like people talk about being humanitarian, that's humanity. Do what you love. Do what your soul is calling out for. Like love life. Be passionate about it. And when you're passionate, guess what happens? You make people around you inspired and passionate too.
And not all rewards are financial. Like you might not make as much money doing it, but you've got peace of mind. So you don't have a heart attack at 50 years old because you're in a job you hate. You live the best version of yourself that you can, and you're like, it's like it all trickles down, right? So anyway, here we go. This is a good one. Did we talk about this? We talked about this like in week 10, I think, right? Was one of these episodes where we're talking about why do we have to tip for everything now, especially when everything's like automated. Like all you did was punch a couple keys on the button and then like you handed me a bag. Why do I got to tip you? Right.
And then you got to be the one that's like, you're trying to figure out the button. It's like, do you want 10%, 20%? And then you're like, I don't want any of these. I just don't want to tip, but you can't find that. And then you've actually got, it's like horrible. I agree with you, Dan, big time. I will more than happily over tip somebody who just wows me. Just to hand me a thing and just go, here you go, where's my tip or whatever, that would piss me off. So
I have a special guest. Axl Rose is here.
Oh, oh my what?
Oh, he just left. Axl Rose has left the building. Yeah,
Exited the building.
We should promote that as our next, Meet Sweats and Menopause. Axl Rose will be joining the podcast, right? And it's our little 5-pound teacup Yorkie. Yep.
Robert says, I use math every day. I work 8 hours, and at half that I eat, then work the other half. So, half of that you eat, and then work the other half sometimes.
Robert, you're seriously like, dude, you're one of the most brilliant people that fixes, like, the way your mind works to fix stuff. Right. You're no joke. I'm not trying to blow smoke. You're a genius, dude. Like, the way your brain works to fix stuff, you can, if you can't personally fix it yourself, you at least know the concept of how something works. Not because you couldn't fix it if you didn't have enough time, but you just may not have the tools and stuff around the house. But, like, you're a genius, dude. And I know just from our conversations that, like, sometimes school was bullshit for you. Some of the classes you had to take were bullshit. And it's an example of what I'm talking about. It's like some of the classes I took were bullshit for me, but I'm really good at the stuff that I'm good at. And I would argue that that's probably true of everyone in society. Like, you've got stuff that you're good at and that you loved and you enjoyed, but there were classes that were just a waste of your time. And, like, maybe get a taste of it. Like, should everyone have a basic working knowledge of math and English and that stuff? Sure. But especially with technology now, we've got calculators and computers. We got AI. You don't need to be a wordsmith to be a fucking, J.K. Rowling's. You don't need to be a math wizard. You can get through life with, and it's not to say you don't have a concept of it, but when you're made to feel like a piece of shit because you aren't good at speaking a foreign language, but someone next to you speaks it, like, in the same number of classes that you sat through, they can go blah, 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 and be, like, fluent, and you're like, I don't even know what you just said. But they're made to feel like a moron and an idiot. I think that's the problem. And,
but that's why when we were at school, and I'm speaking to Gen X and before that, is that we had things that were practical. We had, like, in my school, it's called domestic science. So you learned how to sew. You learn how to make clothes. We did cookery, as we called it. So, whatever that's called now, whatever that culinary. You learn how to cook food and make stuff. You did shop. So you learned how to do woodwork, or you fixed cars or whatever. Like, I did all that shit. And I learned that
I learned that I wasn't good at tools and fixing things because I took wood shop and metal shop in high school. Right. I've got a lamp that I'm surprised still works this day. I mean, but I did it and I had great experiences with it. And I had foods class. I learned how to sew, but it's not my calling, but I at least had exposure to it. Yeah. Kids today don't have that stuff. They got to sit through and you know what's cool about those is they were hands on. You got to, like, you're not sitting in a straight row and having to raise your hand. You got to, like, work in groups. You got to, like, actually put your hands on things and do things, like, and so much of school now is just read your iPad and regurgitate facts. And, like, it just makes me sick thinking about it. But anyway, we're about 7:15. This one went fast tonight. We had a good banter. In 1982, I asked a classmate to type. Go ahead and pull that up.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, that's a great point. And now with Whisper Flow, an app, or I guess you call it an app, like, you can hold down 2 buttons on your keyboard and speak into your microphone, and you don't have to type a damn thing. So technology has eliminated your home row keys and need to know all that stuff. So yeah,
I understand your accent.
Right. I've been using Whisper Flow for the last couple of weeks, and it's condensed. Typing's not I'm not the 2-finger typer guy. I'm a little bit better than that, but I never learned proper typing. Mm-hmm. And so Whisper Flow has been a huge help to help. And then I just go in and kind of tweak and edit things, because it doesn't get all the nuance, but it gets 90% of it. And then I just go edit, and it takes a fraction of the time. So Bill Pill, when I was in high school, my mom typed all my papers, and in college I got girls that I knew to type my papers because they're all good at typing. So I would handwrite them out. It's the clunkiest thing ever. So I get the whole idea of, like, not loving typing, but yeah,
I still write by hand, though. Like I think that is a very human thing to do. Like when we like, it's like somatic. It's like when you have a thought and you allow it to flow and come out your body and out of your hand to write things. Like I still think that's so important when you're doing. The problem is,
well, they say with journaling and some of that stuff, like when you're really trying to be like, not necessarily like from, writing down tasks and stuff and like more mundane, but they say when you're journaling and when you're like trying to like take your mind and put it on paper, that writing specifically in cursive is a great way. It's a great way to journal and get your like manifestations going. So
now my voice text exclusively at work. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is quicker for sure.
I love it. I love it. So technology is benign. It's not good or bad. It's how we use it, right? And so there's great uses of technology. There's things that can get nefarious. And so, and does it make us mentally soft? There's some things that will, but I think if we take some of the mundane tasks, this is what I was saying a couple weeks ago on the podcast, if you don't have to go worry about, I think doing the dishes is mundane. So like, if I didn't have to do the dishes and that left me time to go journal, or if it left me time to go be creative, and whether it's making sourdough bread or whether it's, like doing something that I enjoy doing, then if that time's opened up because of technology, then I see the good of it. But if all I do is sit and, drink beers and smoke weed and like just veg out, then probably could argue that that's not the best use of my time. But God gives us free will, and so it's up to us to take that and live our best life. So not for everyone else.
Bill, right now we are broadcasting. We are from Arizona right now. So hi and welcome.
Welcome. How'd you find us? It's really, I would love to hear from you more of maybe message us. Cool. Yeah, we're in the Phoenix metro area. Kirstey's originally from the London area, and I grew up in the Chicago area. And we're just two Midwestern, or two middle-aged. Sorry, I'm Midwestern. Two middle-aged people that we were laughing one day. We were joking about having meat sweats, just being little thicker in the midsection. And so you're talking about meat sweats, and she's like, talked about menopause. We're like, we should do a podcast called Meat Sweats and Menopause. I think that'd be hilarious. And so it was born, and we've done 16 consecutive weeks of Meat Sweats and Menopause. So very cool. Oh, cool. Orland Park. Very cool. My brother's down in Homewood. So I have a twin brother that lives in Homewood. Kirstey, let me hit the button. There we go. I grew up out near Rockford, a couple hours west. A little town called Byron is my hometown. And then went to Augustana College, and then ended up in Glen Ellen, and then moved out here 21 years ago to the Phoenix metro. And but my brother still lives in the Chicago area down in Homewood. So. Surprise AZ in the house. That's right. We're out in Surprise, Arizona. That's right. Spring training home of the Kansas City Royals and Texas Rangers. So that's probably all. That's really probably all nationally. All Surprise is really known for is our spring training. But it's a cool town, good place to live. So it's about 20 after 7 here, and I'm getting a little hungry, if I'm being honest.
So Bill, just so you know, we're here every Wednesday, 6 o'clock MST. Thank you. That's awesome. I love that. If you subscribe and share, that's super helpful for us. But yeah, we're here every single Wednesday night, 6 o'clock MST. So I guess if you're in Chicago, then it's about 9 o'clock. No, well, it's
9:20. Yeah, they're 2 hours ahead of us right now.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but we just our format is basically conversational. They're 2 hours ahead of us. They're right now. But when they go back in the fall and we don't move because we're Arizona, they'll be an hour. So our format is that we're conversational. We love to inspire just critical thinking and conversation, and having people be heard, even if we don't agree with us and they don't agree with us and we don't agree with them. Let's all have a chat, and it's all from a Gen X perspective because that's the time we grew up. So, so sometimes it's nostalgia, sometimes it's pop culture, sometimes it's just nonsense, sometimes it gets deep, sometimes it's conspiracy theory. You never know. But love to have you and look forward to future conversations.
Absolutely. And if you want to, if you're on Facebook, you can join our Facebook page, Meat Sweats and Menopause, and it has we always send out a reminder of it when we're going live and so on too, so we can connect that way. So thank you so much. Appreciate you all. Yes. It's that time, so we'll probably round up, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you so much.
Look forward to it. Great conversation. Love y'all. Thanks for the conversation, and look forward to next week.
All righty.